What's up guys, my name is Andrew Clarke and today I'm going to show you a very cool bar chord alternative. So we all know that bar chords are something we have to learn, and sometimes as a beginner or maybe as an intermediate student of the guitar, they can be a little bit of a challenge. They're really hard on your hand. And a lot of times people spend maybe a year, 2 years just trying to develop enough dexterity and strength to even be able to do one. And the reason why we need bar chords is honestly just because we don't have enough fingers on our hands to play the chords we want to play. So if we want to play a G-sharp major bar chord, well, we don't have enough fingers to do that properly without playing a full bar chord, right? I'm going to show you a way where you do not have to bar at all. Now, okay, I lied, a tiny little bar, but it's much, much, much easier to do. So what we're gonna do is, instead of using this entire finger to bar everything, we are gonna be using our thumb. So immediately, this becomes something that's a little bit scary, it's a little bit different, and if you've learned in the past to keep your thumb behind the neck of the guitar, well, this is going to feel really unnatural, and that's totally okay. So how we're going to start, you see people like John Mayer, Joe Bonamassa, people like that use their thumb all the time, so it's totally okay, I promise. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our hand like this, and we're going to almost pretend we're grabbing a baseball bat, if you can kind of imagine that in your head. So we take our hand, boom, like this. We're not grabbing properly like this, we're grabbing like this. And you can see my thumb comes over top, and my fingers go like this. Now, I have very long, slender fingers. I tested this to make sure with somebody with smaller fingers that they can absolutely make these reaches. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get all the angles down correctly. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring our hand in, and basically the crease of these fingers here is going to be right at the bottom of our fretboard, maybe adjust it a little bit, but otherwise we're just wrapping over top with our thumb like this. Very simple. So we're not making a chord right now, that's totally okay. We're just doing this to get the position right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use this first finger to, in this case, we're going to do a G-sharp major, because this might be something you'd actually use as a bar chord. We are going to use this finger to bar strings 1 and 2 at fret 4. We're going to bring this finger down right there on the 3rd string on fret 5. Then, this is kind of a little bit of a departure from what you might be used to doing. We're going to use these 2 fingers on the 6th fret on the A and D strings, the 4th and 5th string here. And then we take our thumb and we're going to put it over top. Now, this is going to feel a little bit weird at first, and that is totally okay. Bring the thumb over, and you really don't have to apply a lot of pressure if your guitar's set up properly. Even an acoustic guitar, it's not too bad. You might be kind of using the side of your thumb, you might be using the top. Don't go crazy with any weird angles, just very natural, nice and relaxed. And if you were to look at this now, we are playing that bar like this while we play that E major shape that we would normally play for a bar chord, except the only bar we're doing is this little 2-string one. And the cool thing about the little 2-string one here is that it's much, much, much easier to make that pressure on those 2 strings. So even if you're not used to barring or you're not used to doing anything like that, and you don't have the strength for it yet, this is a much more natural way to bar something. So it should be pretty easy for you. So you want to double check that everything's pushed down properly. This one might be the tough one on the low E string. If we strum, okay, so the first tip that I have for you for making this type of bar chord alternative with the thumb over the top is to sit up straight. Now, when you sit up straight, what that does is it puts the guitar in a much better position for your thumb to reach over. When you're playing regular bar chords, you probably are bringing your neck up higher to get your thumb behind to have enough strength and not be awkward when you're trying to play that bar chord, right? So in this case, we're going to do the opposite, because if we bring our thumb over and it's nice and high up, it's actually more awkward on our wrist. So we want the guitar to be a little bit lower in a more natural position like this. It's very horizontal. So like this, sitting up, the straighter I sit, the easier this is probably going to be. Now, that rolls right into tip number 2, which is just to relax everything. So you want to bring your elbow into your body, but it is relaxed. It's basically just the weight of my arm and my shoulder. I'm not pulling it in tight. All I'm doing is I'm just sitting there with my elbow totally relaxed. The same thing goes all the way up to my wrist is not tensed at all. It's like I said, I'm grabbing a baseball bat or something like that, and I'm not holding up any weight, right? The guitar neck should be sitting naturally like that. You come in, nice and relaxed, elbows in. This is nice straight line. Maybe play around a little bit with the exact angle, but the biggest thing is just to relax and not create any weird angles or kink your wrist or kink your elbow or do anything weird like that. So then for the very last tip, you're gonna be using the side of your thumb instead of the fleshy part of your thumb. Now, when you're doing this, it's totally gonna depend on your own body and the way that your hand is shaped when you grab the neck and you're reaching over the fretboard. For me, and what's easiest for me is actually to use, you can see I'm using the side of my thumb. There's kind of a bony part right here, and it sits right perfectly on the string like that. And you can hear, it's almost easier to keep it clean. When I get to the fleshy part, it becomes a little bit of a challenge to make sure I'm pushing down hard enough to make sure that I'm accurate enough, not kind of bumping over the fret. This is a much smaller point of contact. So when you're putting that thumb down, try using the side. Like I said, it's much easier to squeeze and you can get more strength because you really don't feel like you're pushing that hard because your hand's in such a natural position. One other thing I wanted to make sure that I mentioned is that this totally works for minor chords as well. Now, this isn't really going to work for A string root note bar chords, really. This is more of an E string root note bar chord thing, so your regular E major, E minor shapes. But if we want to do G sharp major, but if we want to do a minor chord, all we have to do is, when we remove this finger, well, we have an open string. So we just want to creep our pointer finger, finger number 1, up so that it bars the top 3 strings instead of the top 2. Now naturally, when I do my major shape, I just bar that naturally anyway. So it's just in that position. But if you're only barring those top 2, just sneak that up a little bit. Just like that. So I hope you found this helpful. Whether you use it as a way to take a break from playing bar chords in longer songs, or you decide you want to use this as your primary 6-string root note bar chord, that is totally okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure if your thumb's not too sore, you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel too. I will see you guys next time. But no, but what I'm saying is, like, you can create that minor chord, and then, you know, like your pentatonic scale?
Yeah.
That's the back of it. You're just playing the back of it right there.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to move it, and you can.
That sounds awesome.
It sounds pretty cool, right?
It does.